of games of the year and 100-unit locks? If so, check out the professional handicappers at WagerTalk.com today. We leave all that nonsense for the other guys. And for a limited time, new users get their first daily picks purchase up to $40 for only $1. $1? Whose idea was that? Johnny Detroit? I guess so. To redeem this special, just go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper and their picks package using coupon code TRYWagerTalk when checking out.
Welcome in to First Pitch, WagerTalk's MLB betting show for Friday, May 21st. I'm your host, Drew Martin, joined by Bryan Leonard and Dave Koken of WagerTalk.com. We're breaking down 4 games on tonight's slate, a full MLB betting card, and we got the knowledge to break it down here. Asian baseball play, and then best bets at the end. First up, Dave Koken from WagerTalk.com. Check out his experts page there. Dave, welcome in. Happy Friday to you.
Thank you, Drew. Lots to talk about today. Got a couple of real marquee matchups in baseball. 4 NHL playoff games tonight. I'm involved in 3 of those. A little heads up on the NHL. I'm now number 1 for the season at WagerTalk, just under 90 net units of profit. And that's on only 131 plays. So the return on investment has been enormous. I've won 8 straight, 31-10 on the last 41. And the 3 plays I've got tonight are packaged together for just $19. So these are normally $25 each. You're getting $75 worth for $19. Check those out. Also have Major League Baseball. I don't have a best bet tonight. I thought I would. I've got 3 plays. None of them made best bet, but those are 67% of the year with the winner on the Cubs yesterday. So I'm excited right now and looking forward to talking about the schedule tonight.
Absolutely, Dave. And I like your best bet a lot better personally. We got Bryan Leonard up next. Guys, over the last 4 years, number 1 at WagerTalk.com. So MLB betting profits over the long term. Bryan Leonard, happy Friday to you, buddy. Welcome in.
Hey, it's great to be here. And similar to Dave, having a great hockey season, number 3 overall, 5-2 in the playoffs. Although we did lose our 5% last night on the Minnesota Wild. Had a 4% on Florida, so we ended up basically breaking even on those. But unfortunately, most people buy the 5% plays and been really good on 5%, but that one didn't work out last night. Felt pretty good when they were up 2-0 and when we thought they were up 3-0. But as a Golden Knights fan, part of me is happy they came back. But unfortunately, money rules, and I'd rather have my clients make money than my local team win. But 3 baseball plays up in a package. Those plays are only $29 today, and real strong card. Let's pick some winners.
Yeah, absolutely. Strong Friday card, guys, and we're breaking it down now on the East Coast, heading to Yankee Stadium for the first matchup here, Dave. A good one. We get the White Sox versus a lefty. See if we'll go that route. And almost a pick 'em price now. You can shop around different sports books showing different teams as the favorite here. We get Carlos Rondon, the lefty, versus Montgomery, also the lefty. Total of 8 in Yankee Stadium here. We got the White Sox and Yanks tonight. First game up here, Dave. You interested in getting involved tonight?
Well, look, I mean, the White Sox, these numbers against left-handers are absolutely insane. I mean, you look at the Yankees numbers against lefties, and at home against lefties, they've got a 122 WRC plus. 100's average, so they're well above average. But the White Sox numbers, they're just nuts. 142 against lefties for the season, 153 on the road against lefties. I don't know if I've ever seen numbers like that. They're hitting the ball extremely well right now. The Yankees are as well, but not as well as the White Sox. Rodon has better numbers than Montgomery. The White Sox are the best team in baseball right now. They, if you add it all up, starting pitching, a good bullpen, and a tremendous offense, they're living up to the hype that was sent their way prior to the season, and they're doing it without 2 really good offensive players. I think they're the team to beat right now, and I think they're the team to beat tonight. Look, the price is kind of reflective of what the White Sox are doing, but I wouldn't go against it. I think it's the White Sox that get my action tonight.
I'm with you, Dave. And Bryan, interesting handicap in the sense Rodon is off of his worst start of the season. He went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits and 3 walks with 4 earned runs. But it's not enough to keep me off of the White Sox. Like Dave talked about, they've just been smashing lefties. And sometimes in sports betting, like in investing overall, the trend is your friend. And when the White Sox are facing a lefty, it's been cash and tickets. So I like the Sox. You want to make it 3 in a row here, Bryan?
Yeah, I can only look that way. It's surprising to me that the Lions pick them. I expected Chicago to be maybe a 125 favorite here. Rodon, as you mentioned, his last time out, his only bad start of the season. Jordan Montgomery has the ability, but he's very inconsistent. You take a look at his numbers. In fact, you go back his last 7 starts, he's mixing them in, 1 good start, 1 bad start. He hasn't been that great. His last start was a 29-game score at Baltimore, which is probably his worst of the season. So you would expect a nice bounce back from each of these pitchers if they weren't facing teams that really hit left-handers, especially Chicago. And Dave says he hasn't seen these type of numbers. Well, I haven't seen these type of numbers since last year with the White Sox. Well, because the White Sox killed lefties last year, too. And considering 2 of their top 3 or 4 best hitters are not in the lineup and are out of the lineup for a while, it's amazing how well they continue to rake against left-handers. The White Sox have a better road record than the Yankees do at home. I like the White Sox here. Like I said, I thought this was going to be about 125. I expect money to come in on the White Sox as the day goes on because I trust Rodon much more than I trust Montgomery. And, both of these teams have some key players that are injured. It's also the Yankees' first game back. They had 10 straight games that they were on the road. Now they're coming back home, and we've talked about that in the past. When you come home for the first time, you got a lot of family duties. I think this is a really good spot for the White Sox, and this will be on my card tonight.
All right, looking towards the Sox. We got second game up here, guys. Battle for Texas, the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers, Bryan. We get Ivy going for the Astros, 6'4", 195 pounds, I believe making his MLB debut, the former Texas A&M Aggie. He was banned in 2019 for a foreign substance. Good curveball, but really always a tricky handicap when these guys make their first start in Major League Baseball. Kirk Gibson on the other side for the Rangers. We're seeing a total of 9. Minus 120, the Stros on the road. What are you liking here, Bryan?
Well, if it is Kirk Gibson going for Texas, I'm going to be all over Houston. Luckily, it's Kyle Gibson. Kirk Gibson's long retired, and I finally caught somebody else in a mistake that I make all the time. But yeah, Kyle Gibson's been one of those guys. He's been terrific. What we saw in the preseason, he's continued to pitch well. Every one of his starts has been better than league average. Got a 1.69 ERA his last 7 starts. Problem is, I bet Houston the last 2 days, and they rewarded me. And it's tough for me to go against them because they're playing really good ball. They've won 8 out of the last 9. Tyler Ivy's their number 5 prospect. He's a pitcher right-handed pitcher. There was an article a couple of weeks ago that they said they might be bringing him up. So he's going to be up for this game. He has not pitched well this year. And as you mentioned, last year didn't get much action. So I don't want to back Houston because of Ivy, only because he's rusty and he's probably going to be on a short leash here against Gibson. I prefer the side with Texas and Gibson, but I didn't get quite the line that I was looking for. If I can get some money coming in on Houston, I may add Texas to my card later on today. But, Gibson's 3-0 in his starts this year when he gets the decision. And Texas, even though they're not a great team, they have some pretty good starting pitching, and one of them is Gibson. And it's hard to go against Gibson when you're catching him in this range. But Houston's the better team, playing good ball. Slight lean to Texas, probably won't get there.
Yeah, Houston, this lineup's going to see Gibson for the second time in a row here in terms of Gibson starts, Dave. He went 7 innings, 2 earned runs, 14 ground balls. That's always good to see. But I kind of like the Stros here, Dave. What are you thinking in the battle for Texas?
Well, I don't really know what Houston's going to do with Tyler Ivy. My guess is 3 or 4 innings. I don't think they're going to go beyond that with him. So maybe he can do something first time through the lineup with guys who've never seen him before. But he's running into a Texas offense that's really hot right now. Rangers last 7 days, Excuse me, I got that backwards. It's really cold right now, is what I meant to say. 69 WRC plus for the Rangers over the last 7 days. They're not hitting the ball. The Astros are hitting everything. And even against the guy who's pitching as well as Kyle Gibson is, I don't know that he's going to be able to cool him off completely. But it's just one of those games where the pitching edge is on the Texas side. The offensive edge is big on the Houston side. I really don't know what to do with games like that, particularly when I don't know anything to speak of with one of the pitchers. I'll take a look at Tyler Ivey and try and figure out what he's got tonight. That's as good as much as you're going to get from me on that game. It's a complete pass for me.
Okay, well, we got 2 games left. Asian baseball best bet and best bets at the end. Shout out to the chat box joining us live. Proud Babylonian, Robert in the house, Brenda as well, King Dre. We got Abby, Jessica, all throwing out gems here. Looks like a lot of the chat box like in Houston. Feel free to join us here live on YouTube in the chat box. Let us know what you're betting, where you're watching from as well. And if you're watching on replay, feel free to drop a comment below. We got next game up here, Dave. The Cubs and the St. Louis Cardinals. Carlos Martinez, he's been volatile. And Kyle Hendricks, a guy that I'm actually looking to fade here, Dave. He's given up 35 hits in his last 23 innings. I'm looking towards the Redbirds here. Total of 8.5, minus 115. That's the Cubs right now. So they've taken some money throughout the day. You interested in getting involved here with this National League Central matchup, Dave?
Well, you're going a little further back on Kyle Hendricks than I am. He's actually thrown the ball well in his last 3 starts. He had a very good start against the Dodgers, 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, and a good outing against Detroit, 8 innings, 8 hits, 1 run. The middle start was against Pittsburgh, and I watched that start. And 5 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 4 earned. But if you watch that, the first inning he gave up 4 runs, and it was just horrible luck on batted balls in play. Nothing was hit hard. I think there was 1 medium velocity, medium exit velocity. Nothing else. Was just a bunch of crap that happened to either get mishandled or just fell in. So I think he's found his form. And part of it is you look at those last 3 starts, and his strikeout rate has gone up. 8 strikeouts in 8 innings against the Tigers, 6 strikeouts in 7 innings against the Dodgers. I think Hendricks is a buy low candidate at this point. Carlos Martinez was coming off an ankle injury, so don't know how healthy he is. Cubs coming off pretty good series. I would lean the Cubs side in this game. It's not going to make my card, but I think Hendricks is starting to find his more typical Hendricks form, and it's not a guy I'd want to go against right now.
Yeah, good point, Dave. And Bryan, Hendricks has been good against the Cardinals as well. 590 OPS against the last 2 years. So he's dominated this lineup. That's what's kind of keeping me, I guess, pumping the brakes on the Cardinals. But heck, rivalry game tonight, NL Central. You interested in getting involved, Bryan?
Cubs against righties, WRC plus is a 98, and St. Louis against righties is a 92. If you take a look at how the teams have fared against righties this year, the Cubs are only 11-18, but as we just saw, they're actually hitting better against righties than St. Louis, and St. Louis is 20-15. So you got to compare both of them. And Dave's right about Martinez. Martinez is a guy, if you take a look at his advanced stats, they're not as impressive as his record is so far. He's basically got a 4.35 ERA in the season, and Hendricks is 5.27. But keep in mind, Martinez has only given up 2 home runs in 41 innings, and Hendricks has given up 11 home runs in 42 innings.
Wow.
So a lot of bad luck from the Hendricks standpoint. And if you look at Hendricks the last couple of years, last year he only gave up 10 and 81. And in 2019, he gave up 19 and 177. So he's a guy that doesn't usually give up a lot of home runs. And he's been giving them up this year. I expect that to change a little bit. I trust his past history a little bit more. The only concern I have for the Cubs is their home road dichotomy. On the road, they've been lousy. They're 6-12 on the road, 16-9 at home. If you're betting into a subset in which the Cubs have not played well on the road, but I do feel that there's a pretty significant pitching advantage here. And from a hitting standpoint, pretty even. Neither team is really knocked the cover off already this year. Slight lean to the Cubs, but not enough to get on my card.
Bryan, we got a good one for the last matchup we're breaking down before best bets here. The San Francisco Giants hosting the LA Dodgers, two teams that have combined to win 9 straight games. We get Trevor Bauer going for the Dodgers. Alex Wood, the lefty, going for the Giants. Looks to be a total of 7. The Dodgers anywhere between minus 120, minus 128 here. So, heck, slight favorites here for the Dodgers. But at the same time, Bryan, we don't get them in this price range very often. Nightcap for the show. You interested in getting involved here on the West Coast?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to play the under here. It is first game back for San Francisco after being on the road at Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. But this is a team that scored 19 runs Thursday, and you look at them before that, 4-4, 6-4, 6-2, 3-4, 3. So San Francisco broke out yesterday, but that hasn't been what's been going on as of late. You look at the Dodgers, out of the last 5 games, only had 1 game where they scored more than 4. I like the under here. I just don't know if I'll get there in the full game under. Alex Wood, I just traded for him in our fantasy league. He's off to a terrific start. And if you go back and look at him when he's healthy, he's been very good. His percentages are up. All of his healthy throws are up this year. His miles per hour when you're looking at fastballs and everything else. So when he's healthy, he's a good pitcher. And this year he's been healthy. 1.75 ERA. He's a 59 average game score his last 7. Bauer is who Bauer is, and that's one of the most elite pitchers in baseball. 69 average game scores last 7 with a 1.62 ERA. I expect a low-scoring game here. Obviously, the closer will not be going for the Dodgers tonight because he has pitched the last 3 games. Somewhat a concern, but the Dodgers bullpen is a solid bullpen, and they've got other guys to take that spot. But I like the under here. Just wish it was 7.5, but that's the only way I could look in this one.
Okay. And Dave, what about you? I mean, possible game of the weekend here, at least series of the weekend, Giants and Dodgers NL West. What are you liking tonight, Dave?
Yeah, I think the White Sox Yankees in the American League and the Dodgers Giants in the National League are definitely the marquee matchups for the weekend. Look, the Dodgers have not been good offensively against lefties. I mean, you don't think of the Dodgers as being a weak offensive team, but for the season, they've only got an 89 WRC plus against lefties. That's below average. And on the road, it's even worse than that, 74. So they've had trouble with southpaws, and they're facing a high-end southpaw tonight in Alex Wood. Meantime, the Giants, yeah, they absolutely blew up Cincinnati, but they're going to face Trevor Bauer. And you look at the OPS, this is strong. You've got first 2 times through the order, for Bauer, a 438 OPS allowed, and Wood, 479. Those are really good numbers. You get, I mean, if 6 is good, 5 is very good, anything under 5 is outstanding. So you've got 2 guys who have been really good early in games. A Dodgers team that doesn't hit lefties. The Giants, I think, let's just say they're not likely to explode against Bauer. It's a low total. But I think you have to look at the under. Now, I will go a little different, though. I'll make it first 5. I don't want to get involved with the Giants' bullpen. The Giants, for as good as they've been, and they're probably the most surprising team in baseball this year, considering their overall record and what the projections were. The one downer for the Giants, their bullpen stinks. And, you know, I think it's accurate to say that if things progress the way they are, come deadline time, the Giants are going to be looking for bullpen help. They'll be searching for one of the teams that's out of it to trade them a guy who can help them in the late innings. Not necessarily a closer. They might go for 2 or even 3 guys, as we've seen some teams do in recent years. Their bullpen, as it stands right now, is awful. So I would worry about the under full game because the Giant bullpen is going to get involved at some point. Alex Wood's not going to pitch 9 innings. I like the first 5 innings under in this game.
All right, Dave. We got Brenda in the chat box agreeing with you. Rara liking San Francisco first 5. Thanks for joining us live as always, guys. And if you're liking the content, please smash the like button. We got best bets coming up. But first, going to throw it over to the other side of the world here. Tokyo Brandon in his Asian baseball quick pick. Tokyo Brandon, take it away.
Thanks, Drew. Tokyo Brandon here. The Lotte Marines cashed our ticket yesterday. Let's keep the momentum going. Today we're going to the KBO, the Korean Baseball Organization. The Lotte Giants will be taking on the Doosan Bears. Choi Won-jun is pitching for Doosan, and I really like him. He's my favorite homegrown pitcher in Korea. Great whip, great stuff. Every time I watch him pitch, he's just got great stuff. I think Doosan is going to handle Lotte quite handily tomorrow. They just got blown out today by him. I think it's a revenge spot, and I think the starting pitcher advantage is just too big. Plus, Doosan's big bats, which were quieted today, will wake up tomorrow. Take Doosan. I would like to take him on the money line, but if the price is too steep, take him on the run line, minus 1.5. That's the play for today. I'll be back with more. Have a great weekend, guys.
Thanks for that, Tokyo Brandon. Bryan, he didn't have one of his custom jerseys there in the Asian baseball leagues.
Maybe he didn't have that exact jersey in his closet, but yeah, it's a lot of fun looking at those, and he's having a lot of success. Hey, what can he say?
Yeah, for sure. And Dave, real quick, I know you knew the KBO last year. We got Chris Flexen going for the Mariners last night against Paddock. I know it's just off the cup, and if you don't have anything, I was looking at the Mariners at a big plus price here against the Pods. Do you like anything in the nightcap, 10-10 Eastern, the Mariners and the Padres? Padres minus 220, 7.5 being the total. Flexen's been good coming over from the KBO.
Yeah, he's been okay. The Mariners have done very well when he pitches. They're 6-1 in his 7 starts, including 3-0 on the road. I think there's going to be some correction coming with him, though. His metrics aren't as good as his base numbers. Paddock seems to be coming around somewhat. I think the Padres win, but I wouldn't be interested in laying that kind of a price. So I guess from a value standpoint, I'd look at Seattle, but they're not hitting the baseball at all. They just got completely shut down by the Tigers. That's the Tigers. They get completely shut down by. They got no hits, and they got 2 runs in the first inning of the next game and never scored again. Those aren't teams you're going to get healthy with, even at big dog prices. You got to be able to score some runs. And San Diego's offense is starting to hum. So even though it's a really steep price and seems to offer value on Seattle, I'm no, not for me.
Okay, good. Glad I asked that one. So, guys, let's get to best bets here. Bryan Leonard, of course, you heard his hockey stats there. And over the long term in MLB, very profitable in baseball as well. Check out his experts page, WagerTalk.com. Bryan, where are you going for best bets tonight, buddy?
I'm going to talk about a game we just spoke about. I do want to make a note that Dave and I did the show a week ago, and we both went off on Miguel Sano. Well, he turns around and hits 5 home runs in the last week. So there's a lot of guys on the Cleveland Indians, my favorite team, I'd like to go off on just to see if they can start hitting. But, yeah, it's just he must have been watching the show, and he's getting back at Dave and I. But Sano is a very streaky hitter, and he's on one of those runs. 3 home runs this other day. Let's go back to that Dodgers game. And Dave talked about how the Dodgers have struggled against lefties. And keep in mind, they are missing some key ingredients to this offense right now. And you go back over what the lineup was yesterday. Really, there's only 5 guys that were in the lineup yesterday that would have been on in the everyday lineup. So they're missing almost half of their lineup. So they don't have the depth. The top 5 guys are really good, but the rest of the guys are not. And I think Alice Wood if he can get through that first 5 guys without getting too much damage, I think the Dodgers have a long night. And I don't hate the San Francisco bullpen as much as Dave does. They made some changes as it's gone on. I'm not sure San Francisco is going to make any trades because they're still in a division with the Dodgers and the Padres. If San Francisco is in the situation later on where they are competing, they will make the moves. But I hope they don't give away somebody that has future value for a short-term patch when you're probably going to end up in third place in this division. So we'll see how it works out. But I like the Dodgers under 3.5 for team total, laying minus 114, under 3.5. I like this game to go under, and I think both pitchers have a really strong game. And we get the Dodgers to score 4 runs right now is a little bit of an ask, considering they've only done more than that once out of the last 5 games. That'll be my best bet today. The Dodgers under 3.5 team score.
Team total under for the Dodgers, Bryan Leonard, and we got Dave Koken up next with a best bet I really like, Dave. Where are you going tonight, buddy?
And a reminder to get the hockey special that's up today. You're not going to find anybody hotter right now in hockey than I am. I mean, it can turn any time, but 8 wins in a row, 31-10, the last 41. And number one for the season and all time in NHL profits at WagerTalk. And 3 plays tonight for $19. So go get it. I'll go back to the White Sox-Yankees game. And this is a play that's on my card tonight. It's the White Sox first 5 innings. Reason first 5 instead of full game, I don't know how long either lefty's in the game. And obviously I want the White Sox, when they're facing a lefty, they could knock Montgomery out in 4 or 5 innings. And then they're facing the strength of the Yankees, which is the bullpen. So they might not score anymore after that. White Sox bullpen's pretty good as well, but the Yankees bullpen is truly elite. So I want what I think is the strongest portion of the game for the White Sox, which is when they're facing Montgomery with Rodon. It's a first 5-inning play on the White Sox. You have to pay a little bit of a tariff on it. I mean, the Yankees are small favorites in the game right now. The White Sox for the first 5. If I punch it up on my screen, minus. Looks like
minus $1.25.
It's pretty close. It's right around pick. Probably minus 110. That's not bad at all. I think that's the bet here. White Sox first 5.
All right, Sox first 5 for Dave. And guys, I'm going to the nightcap, and I think a lot of that box is going to disagree with me here, but we don't get the Dodgers at this price very often. I like the Dodgers minus 123. Bauer on the hill, 77 strikeouts, 14 walks year to date. That is a heck of a number, 2.20 ERA. Going up against Alex Wood, the lefty for the Giants. Granted, good pitcher overall in MLB, but the fact is, guys, strength of schedule. I know in like college football, it's huge. MLB, we don't talk about it as much, but when you look at the lineups he's faced the Marlins twice, and that was when the Marlins were really banged up. He's also faced the Texas Rangers, Pittsburgh Pirates, not exactly murderer's row here. Colorado Rockies, outside of Colorado, not a good lineup. In Colorado, granted, I guess that's a tough matchup, but still, guys, I think the Dodgers are able to do enough here against Alex Wood to get the win. Plus the fact, we touched on it a little bit, the San Francisco Giants bullpen, shaky the last 7 days, over a 5 xFIP. The strikeout to walk rate, not very good in the later innings for the Giants. So I think the Dodgers minus 123 is the play as the slight favorite there in the nightcap. We got the recap for the best bets. And there we go. Dodgers minus 123. Bryan Leonard, Dodgers team total under 3.5. Dave Koken, White Sox first 5. Tokyo Brandon's Tucson Bears right there, minus 1.5 on the run line. So for Dave Koken, Bryan Leonard, I am Drew Martin. Guys, if you like the content, please smash the like button. Huge shout out to the chat box for joining us live, and feel free to leave a comment below. And have a fun, safe weekend. Best of luck with your bets. We'll be back on Monday. Same time, same place. Be good until then, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, you heard right. Get 90 days of picks for only $6.10 per day. A WagerTalk 90-day all-access pass covering all sports, all client releases, and all 5% best bets are priced at $8.49. But for a limited time, you can save $300 and lock in your favorite WagerTalk handicapper for the next 3 months for only $5.49, coming out to just $6.10 per day. Have an existing all-access pass? No worries. Your 90 days will be added to your current subscription and won't kick in until your current access expires. Act fast, as this offer expires Sunday at midnight.